The clip you are about to watch is from the Top of the Morning Show podcast that airs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Please join me.
Turn the beat up, try to do my thing. Show little Juan, you know that's gang. You know that's gang. JGTS, you know that's the way.
Juan Gotti's top 10 quarterbacks headed into the 2023 season. Coming in at number 10, Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's ahead of guys like Derek Carr, who's going to the Saints, so you don't know how he's going to be in the new offense. He's ahead of guys like Geno Smith, who's you got to do it again, Geno. He's ahead of guys like Tua. Kirk Cousins is still a good quarterback. Now, is this his final year in Minnesota? Who knows? Will he ever get over that playoff hump? Who knows? But as of right now, headed into the 2023 season, Kirk Cousins is the number 10 best quarterback on my list. I have Dak Prescott. Now, I know a lot of people say Dak Prescott regressed, which you can clearly see there has been some regression in his performances, but he's still a really good franchise quarterback. He's still a guy that is going to be a regular season beast. Now, again, similar to Kirk Cousins, I don't know if he'll ever get over the playoff drought. Because let's be real, the Cowboys last year were ready to win. I show up in that San Francisco 49ers divisional round game. Now, I don't know if Dallas beats Philly in the NFC Championship. I don't know how that goes. I think Philly still represents the NFC in the NFC Championship and in the Super Bowl, I should say. But Dallas, they were ready to compete. They were ready to make a playoff run. That defense, Dan Quinn was outstanding, right? Dak Prescott just didn't show up. But with that being said, one thing you can say about Dak Prescott, unless it's a catastrophic injury, which I don't wish to happen, I don't wish nobody to get hurt, but unless it's a catastrophic injury, Dak Prescott is always having his Cowboys competing for the NFC East. Number 8, I got Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence had you can say he had one good year, but last year I think was the start of something special in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson, Travis Etienne, you getting Calvin Ridley now back. I think the Jaguars are in for a special treat this year and for the future, man. I like Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's going to be really, really good. And I think last year was just the start of something special there. They're definitely going to be a force to reckon with in the AFC. I don't know if they're quite ready to compete for a Super Bowl, even though they had a really good playoff run last season. I don't know if they're ready to compete for a Super Bowl, but I know that they're making steps towards that. They're definitely going to win the AFC South. I don't see nobody really stopping them from winning the AFC South. Aaron Rodgers. I know some people out there may be like, what? That's way too low for Aaron Rodgers. You tripping. Here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers is coming off of one of the worst seasons of his career. And was it his fault? No, not all of it. You know, it was a lot that went wrong last year for Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy that we're talking about one of his worst seasons, and he still went 26-12. That should just tell you how much accustomed we are to Aaron Rodgers just being great. Aaron Rodgers, prior to that year in 21, 37/4. 2020, 48/5. 2019, 26/4. And so on and so forth. So 26/12, you give that to my quarterback this year, we're winning the playoff. We're winning the division. Or we're making the playoffs into this season. And he has an opportunity to get back to that top 5. But the people ahead of him is just young, in their primes, and going crazy. Number 6, Justin Herbert. I love Justin Herbert, man. And if I could redo that 2020 draft over again, I think my Washington Commanders, without a doubt, selects Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has been so good for the LA Chargers. The thing is with Justin Herbert, he hasn't been able to get over that playoff drought, right? They haven't been able to get past that playoff demon, man. And he's only played in 2021, 2022, and in 2020 he got the start. I think I want to say because didn't Tyrod Taylor lung get punctured? He wasn't even supposed to see the field in 2020, but he was so good as soon as he got out there. 2020, he threw for 4,336 yards, 31 touchdowns, over 10 as a rookie. Then in 2021, he threw for 5,014 passing yards, for 38 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. That is MVP caliber stats, if you ask me. Then in 2022, Justin Herbert threw for 4,739 yards, for 25 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He's a beast, man. He's a regular season beast. He's definitely going to have the Chargers competing each and every year. Top 5. This is going to be interesting. I have Lamar Jackson. I have Lamar Jackson coming in at number 5, or my top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL headed into 2023. Lamar Jackson has been really, really good since stepping on the field for the Baltimore Ravens. But the thing is, with Lamar Jackson, as of late, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. Right? That's the biggest thing. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. Secondly, hasn't had enough talent around him to push him to that next level. This is the year that I think Lamar Jackson puts it together, and the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a AFC favorite to make it out that conference. Lamar Jackson, again, health has been his biggest issue the last couple of years. And then it happens at the worst possible times. It's not like Lamar Jackson gets hurt in the beginning of the season, something minor, then he could just come back, miss a couple games, come back. It always seems to happen at the worst possible time. And then this year with the whole contract drama and debacle, people want to make it seem like, oh, he's holding out. I don't think Lamar Jackson was holding out, bro. I don't think so. I think it was something really wrong with Lamar Jackson. And his contract being in the back of his mind, do I think he was thinking about it? Yes, I do. I mean, he wants to get paid, right? But it was something wrong with him. Right? And I'm not mad at Lamar Jackson. As much as Ravens fans want to be mad and say, hey, Lamar should have went out there and played with his brothers, man, and tried to compete in the playoff game. I think if he was right, he would have done it. But at the same time, let's say Lamar Jackson was 50, 60% before that playoff game versus the Cincinnati Bengals. If he would have went out there and played 50%, just because everybody's saying he should have, he could have potentially got hurt worse, which would have prevented the Ravens from signing him. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. I really think John Harbaugh and some people in Baltimore was fine with letting Lamar Jackson go. Did they want him back? I think they did want him back. Clearly, they re-signed him. But I think it wasn't as much as a pressing need or a pressing want for them. And it's definitely a need. I don't see no reason why this was even a discussion, and this got dragged on longer than what it did. But they seemed like they were willing to let him go. You know, trade talks, right? Signing him to the franchise tag to then let him go discuss trades with other people. I felt like people were willing, and some people in that Baltimore room was willing to let him go. So if he would have played, right, and got hurt more, I don't think Lamar Jackson's a Baltimore Raven right now. Because if they were that willing to let him go freely, because and he was going to be right this season, could you imagine if he would have got hurt in that playoff game or would have got worse, or would have performed poorly in that playoff game. That's another thing a lot of people got to realize. If he would have performed poorly in that playoff game, they would have used that against him in the negotiations for how much he would have won it. So, at the end of the day, this thing is called chess, not checkers. Lamar was playing chess, and all power to him. He got his bag. So rightfully deserved. And I think this is going to be the year that the Ravens genuinely make a push. Because as much as I say there's no reason Lamar Jackson shouldn't at least been in the AFC Championship game, it hasn't been enough around him. It hasn't been enough around him. He had to pretty much do everything by himself. If it wasn't him, it was Mark Andrews. Now, you got a whole bunch of weapons, right? You got a new offensive coordinator. No more Greg Roman. You got Odell. You got Zay Flowers. Right? You getting Rashad Bateman back, who I think is going to be really good. If he could just stay healthy, man, he could be really good. And then obviously you still got Mark Andrews. And then you still got a run game. Number 4, I got Jalen Hurts. Okay, Jalen Hurts had a remarkable season last year. Remarkable season last year. Here's the thing, though. He had one season to where I don't know why he's in the top 2 discussion. They have Jalen Hurts as the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes. How is that possible? He only did that for 1 year. He only had this caliber season for 1 year. How is it possible that he's behind Patrick Mahomes? Jalen Hurts is the 4th best quarterback in football right now. Solely based on he only did it for 1 year, and the people in front of him has done it for multiple years. The only person that you can somewhat question is going to be the next person I announce. But even that person has had beast regular seasons for multiple years. Number 3, I got Josh Allen. Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in football. My favorite quarterback in the NFL is Josh Allen. My favorite non-player besides Washington, Josh Allen's in the discussion. If it's not Josh Allen as my favorite non-Washington player, it's Stephon Diggs. So I mean, they both on the same team, so you can pick your boys. But Josh Allen, dog, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. A lot of people, I had him over Joe Burrow prior to the season starting last year. But now I have to be a realist. I cannot deny Joe Burrow being better than Josh Allen right at this moment. Right? But I had him behind Patrick Mahomes last year. But 2020 is really where it took off. Because after then, 21, 36 over 15. And 2022, 35 over 14. I think this has to be the year that they win it. They've had this window since 2020. Since 2020, they've had this window. I would say, yeah, since 2020. So they have to cash in. It's going to be the 4th year that their Super Bowl window has been open. At some point, it's going to shut. And when that thing close, you don't know when it's going to open. Again, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, man. How good is he, man? How good is Joe Burrow, man? He's so good, bro. He's so good. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the #1 quarterback in the NFL. How can you sit up here and talk football and not have Patrick Mahomes as the #1 quarterback in the league?
Top of the morning, 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 top of the morning.